To many people's surprise, Hillary Clinton lost the 2016 presidential election. A new expose spells out what could have gone wrong, from the rocky launch of her campaign to the shocking letdown on election night. CBN's Jenna Browder talked with one of the authors of Shattered: Inside Hillary Clinton's Doomed Campaign for the inside story.
There's another revealing moment when Hillary says, and this is a quote, "I don't understand what is happening with this country. I can't get my arms around it." That really hits it on the head.
I know, it's almost like you could just read that and know what happened.
A campaign plagued by confusion and chaos.
She had lost in New Hampshire to Bernie Sanders by 22 points. If you're going to be the nominee of a major party for president, losing a primary state by 22 points does not look good. It doesn't feel good.
This would become a theme for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. In their new book, Jonathan Allen and Amy Parnes lay out in compelling detail what went wrong. It all begins with Clinton's infamous email server scandal.
In addition to that, you've got this issue where she had trouble articulating a message. Her speechwriters couldn't do it for her. They needed to know why you, why now? Which is the question that any presidential candidate must be able to answer.
Allen recalls a former Obama speechwriter quitting before the campaign even got off the ground.
He basically threw his hands up in the air and said, I can't do this. There's no real clear plan here, and there's no organization of this group, and the speech is lackluster.
There was also heavy infighting between senior staff members. Allen describes how it pitted the young with Robbie Mook pushing data and analytics against the experienced like John Podesta and Bill Clinton, who leaned on tradition.
So all these groups were sort of jockeying for power, and the lines of authority weren't very clear. And it even got to a point in fairly late in the campaign, in I think June of 2016, where they had a senior staff retreat. And John Podesta stands up in front of the entire senior leadership and he says, Robbie, the campaign manager, says, Robbie is passive aggressive and I'm just aggressive. And there he's explaining this tremendous tension between the two of them the entire time that's been going on.
These revealing moments seem almost non-stop, with some of the most shocking unfolding on election night. Allen writes about the reluctance to concede and the moment Hillary knew it was over and had to take that dreaded phone call.
And Huma Abedin, her top personal aide, comes up to her with a phone in hand and says, it's the president. And Hillary Clinton just visibly recoils, winces. She doesn't want to take this call. It's really the moment of reality where the president is calling the losing candidate as a consolation. And it hits her. She's let herself down. She's let her party down. She thinks she's let the country down. And she thinks she's let Barack Obama and his legacy down. So much at stake in this election. She takes the phone. She walks toward another room. And she says, Mr. President, I'm sorry.
A crushing moment for the woman who had effectively been pursuing the White House for more than a decade. Allen says many things contributed to her shattering defeat. But at the end of the day, she had no one to blame but herself.
It is a much bigger story than Jim Comey or the Russians or the media or even misogyny, which she talks about as well. This was a perfect storm, and the biggest factors in that perfect storm were self-inflicted wounds.
In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.